All right, welcome back. You're listening to Tips Matter. You can find us on tipsmatter.com. You can follow us on Instagram and X at Just Tips Matter. Look, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love a shout, give us a follow, whatever you want to do. You can email the show, Stelzy, Stelzy, at tipsmatter.com. So let's get into it. I really wanted to do a future show with NFL starting Thursday. We can't ask for a better time with updated numbers. We're really getting started now. College football kicked off this weekend. So let's get into it. Let's start off. Let me get up to, we're in Florida. So basically, let's do it right. Hard Rock is the only quote-unquote legal way to bet here in Florida. So let's go through what's offered and the number out there. So right now, to win the AFC, the Ravens are plus 3.25. Bills are plus 350. The Chiefs are 4-1. Man, is it hard not to take the Chiefs just because of they're a one bad half away from being a 7-time representative since Mahomes took over for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So enough said there. Chiefs 4-1. Bengals 11-1. I don't care that they signed Hendrickson. How can you trust that defense? And no matter how good Burrow and Chase and Higgins are, it's tough to trust that defense. Can they ever get a stop if they needed one? Denver 12-1, Chargers 13-1, Texans are 14-1, Steelers 20-1 with that D is interesting. Can Rodgers turn back the clock? And I'm talking like a half a decade. 21's great, but I don't know if they can do that. Jacksonville's 30-1. Okay, brand new coach. Can Cone fix Trevor Lawrence like he fixed Baker? I don't know on that. Drake May and the Patriots are 30-1. I do like the Vrabel's there. I feel like he's going to give that franchise some stability, that's for sure, but at 30-1. Dolphins 40-1. Everybody's down on the Dolphins. With McDaniel, if Tua is upright and healthy, they've got a big-time winning record. So I'm not on the bandwagon. Man, you blow on Tua, and he's got a concussion. He's out for 6 weeks. And probably, if he has one more concussion, his career may be over. But I don't know how you'd bet them at 40-1, especially with the cancer Tyreek Hill's turned into there in Miami. Raiders, the rest of them. Raiders, Colts are 50-1, Titans 75, Jets 75, and the Browns 150-1. Really no hope for any of those franchises. To me, maybe you go to the Jaguars. Funny thing is, I think the Steelers and Jags should be on the same rate there. I mean, maybe both at 25-1, but it's tough to go against the Chiefs. A lot of people on the Broncos, which I understand. To be honest, they probably have the best defense in the league. A shutdown corner and Surtain. Look, that's our week 1 survivor pick. The Broncos are at home against the Titans. So to be honest, you made me make a bet. You'd have to prove to me that you can beat the Chiefs. I just know it's crazy, but it's still Mahomes. It's still Andy Reid. They have the bad taste in their mouth after the way it ended on them last year. So I think my pick would be the Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. I've got a little bet on the Bills. I got some futures out there for matchups, and I'll get into that in a minute. Let's move to the NFC, but real quick, thanks for listening to Tips Matter. Love to hear from you. Once again, you can find us on Instagram and X, Just Tips Matter. You can email the show, Stelzy at tipsmatter.com. Look, the reason I started this, right, I work on tips in my quote-unquote first real job, and, you get those guests that are entitled and think their presence alone pays your bills. It's not right. So I think they should be called out when you treat people like that and you stiff people that are hardworking, that the people think that thank you pays your bills. It's an absolute joke how they treat people that work for tips. So just hoping we get that little word out there, that's for sure. So, all right, let's get to the NFC. Philly at 3.5-1, Lions at 6-1, Packers 6.5-1, Washington and San Francisco at 9-1, Rams at 10-1. That's my pick if Stafford's healthy. Bucks are 13-1, Minnesota 13-1, And then you got the Bears at 20 to 1. No hope there. In fact, I got to be honest, I'd take any under on them. I do not think they're that great. Arizona's 22.5 to 1. Plenty of people are high on Arizona. You know what? Kyler has to prove to me that he knows what color jersey his team's wearing from week to week, because he definitely does not. Seattle 25 to 1. Funny thing is, I think Seattle finishes above Arizona in the NFC West. Atlanta and Dallas 30 to 1. Look, we all know Dallas, with all those fans out there, they think they're winning the Super Bowl. I can't believe they're that low. I mean, you'd think Dallas should be 5 to 1, right, Cowboys fans? They're an embarrassment. They really are. Panthers 60, Giants 75, Saints 150 to 1. I think you stop around Seattle at 25 to 1. I don't know how the Bears are above Seattle. The couple quick things about Seattle. Why all of a sudden do we think Darnold sucks? I don't understand. Don't get me wrong. Am I 100% sure he's a good quarterback? No. But after the fiasco, anybody drafted by the Jets or playing quarterback for the Jets is horrible. I don't care who you are. You're not going to be successful. I don't know if it's just the pressure in New York, how stupid the fans are at times. I don't know what it is, but you're not going to be successful in New York until they get the coaching hire right. So throw that away. When Darnold went to San Francisco 2 years ago and learned under Kyle Shanahan, didn't play, just learned, just was in the room. He was the backup to Purdy. Probably couldn't have been in a better place for him. Then after that 1-year contract, goes to Minnesota, lights it up for 16 games under the coach in Minnesota. And look, we all know he's one of the best coaches in football. Why, all of a sudden, because of 2 bad games, Darnold's just a piece of shit? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think maybe he's figured it out. It's not like he's 23. He's mid-20s. Maybe he's a good quarterback. I like going to Seattle. He's got JSN. I'm not saying JSN's in JJ's status, but let me tell you, JSN's a good wide receiver. You got him. You got a running game. Play action's going to help. You're going on week 1. Everybody's picking the Niners. I like Seattle. You're giving me points in Seattle in that environment where Purdy has no one healthy to throw to. I like Seattle a lot in week 1. I think they finish above Arizona in the NFC West. I don't think Seattle is as bad as people think, and I think 25 to 1 to win NFC is not bad value. But let's go through the NFC real quick. Eagles, everybody's going to pick the Eagles again. I just don't think they'll do it again. That's just a personal opinion. Lions, 6 to 1. Now, why is everybody down on the Lions? Everybody thinks it was the coordinators that made that team go. What I don't understand is, why couldn't it have been Campbell? Right? Campbell's been a part of this turnaround since the beginning in Detroit as a head coach. And it's not like that Detroit offensive team is full of young guys. It's not a Caleb Williams quarterback where it's an all ego-driven guy. It's not. You have Jared Goff, who is a veteran quarterback who knows what he likes and knows how to be successful with those players around him. Amon St. Brown, he's also a veteran. Jamison Williams now 3 or 4 years into the league. You have the running back in Gibbs. It'd be different if they were all kids. They're not. You don't think Campbell's going to let Jared Goff talk to his offensive coordinator and give his opinion on what makes him successful and what isn't? And last but not least, Hutchinson's back. Like, he is a man among boys. Why people are so down on Detroit, I honestly don't know. 6 to 1 is a good number to me. I like them more than the Packers. Packers are all the way up to a 6.5 to 1. I understand they traded for Micah Parsons, but let me tell you something. That doesn't do anything to fix that JV high school secondary that Green Bay has. And anybody's going to be able to tear that up. I love Detroit in week 1 at Green Bay. I think Goff goes out and throws 3 to 4 touchdown passes. I think they're going to expose the Packers secondary the way it should be every week by if you have any kind of decent quarterback play. Washington 9 to 1. I think we all think regression's coming. But all that kid did was win last year. All they did was win one-score games. Is it going to happen every time? No, but 9-1 seems a little high or a little low. But if you look back at their playoff run, you're kind of like, man, 9-1. Jaden Daniels in his second year. Everybody's comparing him. Could Jaden Daniels have a sophomore slump like C.J. Stroud did last year? The one thing nobody's talking about, what if it's Bo Nix? Look, I like Denver. I like Nix. What if it's Bo Nix that has the sophomore slump? But in all honesty, I think the sophomore slump, if it's anyone, it is Jaden Daniels. Just because Sean Payton wouldn't allow Bo Nix to have the sophomore slump. We know Nix is accurate. We know he puts the ball in the money. He makes good decisions. I mean, I'm kind of on Denver a little bit. Do I think they overtake Kansas City? I don't. But Washington, 9-1. Niners are 9-1 because of how easy their schedule is. They are going to have a decent seed, you would think. Them and the Rams. Rams 10-1. I like that defense of the Rams. I think it can do some stuff. I have the Rams in some futures, and I'm going to get to that in one moment. I think the Rams, honestly, I think they represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. I really do. Let's just go through it. If you would go with the Rams, they're 10-1 to win the NFC. But let's say you want to choose the Super Bowl winner. Rams-Ravens goes off at 45-1. Rams-Bills is 48-1. The one I like a lot, Rams-Chiefs, 54-1. Now, I have a Rams-Bengals. I have it from earlier in the year. I got that at 200-1 early in the summer. Now it's down to 131-1. The Broncos with the Rams, 150-1. So not bad there. And then a lot of people are on the Texans with that defense. That Rams-Texans Super Bowl matchup is 164-1. So that's not bad either. Now my other dark horse, and I need to get these in before Thursday. Minnesota at 13-1. I honestly think 2-53, they may be the best all-around team in football. The only question is number one, can J.J. McCarthy be a top 15 quarterback in the NFL? If he is, I really think Minnesota can go to the Super Bowl. Okay? So you throw Minnesota in with the Ravens, you're looking at 58-1. With the Bills at 62. Vikings, Chiefs at 70-1. How about this one? Vikings, Bengals, 167-1. Two teams, oh my gosh, can you imagine those cities if they're in the Super Bowl? Minnesota and Denver, 195-1. How about that one? Not bad there. And Minnesota and the Texans, 209-1. Just got a text from my guy, Giorgio. I think Soto must have just went deep. That was one of my hits for the home run parlay today. He just texted me Soto an exclamation. So I'm assuming Soto went deep. Good stuff there. So that's where I'm at. I like, I got a couple, obviously just throwing some stuff out. But, in the AFC, it's really top heavy with Baltimore, Buffalo, and Kansas City. I could never put my money on Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, he just can't do it when the game means anything. He'll probably go to Buffalo and win week one. It's a regular season game. It doesn't mean much in the whole grand scheme of things. But the Bills, they just can't get past the Chiefs. They don't play the Chiefs. They somehow, some way miss that. I think the Bills go to the Super Bowl. I really like them this year. But again, you have to prove to me you can knock Mahomes off. I am on the Lions big time and the Rams. Those are my two in the NFC. Who do you like? I would love to know. Please let me know. Stelzy at tipsmatter.com. Just Tips Matter on Instagram and X. Please, I want to know what your Super Bowl matchup is. Kickoffs Thursday. Get those picks in. I'd love to read those on the air. And until next time, don't forget, thank you doesn't pay the bills.